YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video. Guys, I told you that we're going to be doing some collaborative content, and I've got a special guest. I'm actually here in this gentleman's home, and it's a lot of great content we're going to be capturing. So we're going to shoot this a little bit different. After I roll my intro, I'm going to introduce you to this great sir. We're going to take a tour on his home. This guy's got an 83-inch G3, and let me tell you, it's not even the beginning. There's a lot more content and exciting things for us to learn and check out right after this intro. All right, what's going on, bro?
How's it going?
All right, so thank you for inviting us to your beautiful home. Let's just start from the top. Who are you?
My name is Jeremy Pyle. I run the Techthusiasm YouTube channel. Been at it something like a little over a year and a half now. Talk all about home theater, hi-fi, based around the systems that we're going to get a chance to play with and demo here tonight.
Okay, how do we go into the creation of the title of your channel? Can you show me that shirt a little bit?
Yeah, there it is.
All right, man. Yeah, how do we create that? Where's that come from? I
so when I put the channel together, I was trying to think of something that I thought was clever. And I wanted it to be about like technology enthusiasm, basically a channel for enthusiasts. And I was thinking about it being general tech as well. So when I started it, it wasn't just so focused on home theater, audio and video. I figured I'd do some gaming. I would talk about my Tesla, some mobile things. I was doing some crypto mining at the time, but over the course of the first several months, it was pretty clear like the home theater content really was what was hitting the most, and so that's the major part of the focus. But the name is still relevant, and I just ultimately thought it was kind of a clever mashup.
Excellent. So you mentioned home theater content. Let's start with talking about the LG G2, and would you mind just giving us a brief demo of that?
Yeah. All right. So we built our house. It was custom architecture, which means we had kind of carte blanche to do what we wanted to do, and I knew I wanted an AV setup in the living room. And so we kind of like custom framed this. At the time we did a little more actually with it than what you see. We had some extra speakers in there. There was kind of a full surround sound. But after we implemented the theater, I pulled this back a little bit. So we're looking at essentially a custom TV bump out here. It's framed in, it's drywalled in a 2.2 audio system. So there's the LG G2. It's on a nice swivel pull-out mount.
Wow. Very clean.
So there's a variety of the sources and stuff back there. Got a new PlayStation 5 that I just installed.
Okay.
Some control system stuff.
All right.
And then we've got Apple TV.
All right.
Apple TV, a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
And everything is wired down to the main brain where the rack is in the basement.
All right. We'll get to that later. We will have timestamps down in the description, ladies and gentlemen, so feel free to skim through. But let's talk about this audio.
Yeah. So audio, 2.2 channel. This is a Focal 1000 series, IWLCR6.
Okay.
Beryllium tweeter. Love this brand.
Just real brief, how did we come to select that?
So when I did the first incarnation of my theater room, I happened upon the brand. I really like the pedigree of the speakers, the fact that they completely design and make their own drivers. Most of their lines, many of their lines, the higher end lines anyway, are handmade in France. Really, really high pedigree, very well regarded and reviewed.
Gotcha.
Speakers. So that's the main, and then we've got a triad. I always forget if it's an 8-inch or a 10-inch. But
okay.
Basically, this is our subwoofer. So
okay.
One main, one subwoofer on each side. This was part of the original install.
Okay.
So the original system was a 7.2 triad in walls. I had triad silvers, and then the bronze subs. I upgraded it to be a 7.2.4, and then backed it down to being just 2.2. And I like the Focal in the theater so much that I ultimately replaced the triad mains with the Focal mains in the space. Excellent,
excellent. So what type of wall mount is this? Do you know?
Yeah, it's from a company called Snap AV.
Can you pull that out again just so I can get a better angle, if you don't mind? Thank you. That's pretty incredible.
So one of my friends of the channel, his name is Dan DiCarlo.
Yeah.
He runs a company here in Southeast Michigan called Audio Vision.
Okay.
And he did a lot of the base wiring, setup, and all that and stuff for the house. And so as a Control 4 dealer, it's a Snap brand. Snap owns a lot of custom installation brands.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Snap AV sourced equipment through the house.
Okay.
The mounts, the racks, all of that stuff is from Snap. I think it's a Strong XL is the specific model.
Okay.
That's there.
If you don't mind showing us the G2 powered on. All right, guys. So before we take a look at the G2, I want to point out to you guys, this is in an actual living room. This is not a theater room. You don't often see an 83-inch television in a living room set up this clean. Now, I've yet to see the TV on. I have yet to hear what it sounds like. I've yet to see any content, but this brother did a great job getting this set up. Now, I was told that there were speakers in the ceiling. He kind of walked me through, what that looked like before. But right now we've got a realistic living room with an 83-inch G2. All right, guys, I just got a demo of this, and for obvious reasons, we can't play this content exactly, but let me tell you, listening to this is correct me if I'm wrong, this is stereo, correct?
2.2.
This 2.2 configuration sounds like I am in a theater. It sounds like I've got dedicated channels coming from different places. Can you just walk me through the why on this speaker selection?
Yeah, so Focal as a brand was what after a bunch of research, it's what I chose for the theater room in the beginning. I had what they called their Electra line.
Okay.
And a combination of their Electra and their Aria line. And this brand was recommended to me, actually. I bought it, the floor standing speakers, the bookshelves, I bought them from a stereo shop out of California. And I was calling around, I was shopping brands, I was debating what I wanted to put in the theater room. And I was introduced to this based, again, on a kind of pedigree, quality, build quality, materials, premium performance, all that sort of stuff. And I really liked the speakers in the first build of my theater space enough that when I changed everything over to be integrated in walls, they have this awesome line. They've got actually a couple different in-wall lines. This is the 1000 series. It's the higher end of the two. But this was like the in-wall equivalent of the better tower speakers that I had owned, and I wanted to stay in-brand, in-line, and try to recreate as much performance, the similar performance as I could with integrated in-walls relative to the floor standards. But I mean, Focal designs and builds all of their own drivers. A lot of speaker companies, many speaker companies, especially as you go lower down in budget, they don't even basically design and build their own speakers, right? They may buy drivers, they may buy components, they may do assemblies, whatever. Everything Focal does is their own thing. It's their own designs, it's their own stuff. They build it all. And in the higher lines, it's made in France, handmade in France. And so you wrap all that stuff together. In the speaker line, Focal is kind of known. Sometimes people might call them bright. I tend to define that as like detailed and clear. Yeah. And that's what I admire, I guess, in audio is clarity and clarity and detail. And these speakers deliver that.
They definitely deliver that. So because this segment is kind of around the G2, and I mean it's a big talking point on my channel, televisions, right? Yeah. If a person is looking to achieve like great sound quality, I mean, you just show me that you can achieve it with these 4 speakers. You don't actually have to have a surround sound because, as I said, prior transition, this is a living room for you. So this isn't your dedicated theater. What type of power is needed to achieve this level of quality?
So I'm running pretty high end, I would say, audio behind these speakers.
Okay.
There's an Anthem STR, which itself is, I think, like a $5,000-ish just audio processor, and they're driven by the Focals are driven by Parasound A52 amp channels. I forget the wattage on those. They're actually a little bit lower. I want to say those are 150-ish watts per channel, a little higher than that. I want to actually step those up a little bit. And then the subwoofers have their own triad amps that are on the order of 300 or so watts. So there's actually not a lot of power. All things considered, there's not as much power as there could be behind those speakers. But those amps are all, again, like premium amps, high quality, excellent build quality, and high pedigree. And so the combination of these brands, right? A system is a culmination of the sum of its parts. Okay. And Focal, Anthem, and in this case the Parasound, you'd have a lot more flexibility in amps, but I think the combination of Focal and Anthem in particular really make make a lot of the audio quality that comes through.
All right, so before I wrap this segment up, I want to ask you if there is an opportunity, and maybe I can get you back in front of the G2, what would you do to kind of upgrade anything in here?
Yeah, so one thing that I've been considering a bit late is actually changing out the amplification. I think Parasound is an awesome brand. I think the engineering and the build quality and all that is absolutely top notch. But one of the things that I'm kind of curious to try out is a pure Class D amp. Parasound is a Class A/AB. And one of the troubles I've had with the room in terms of like this specific integration is a little bit of buzzing.
Okay.
A little bit of like passive speaker noise.
I remember seeing, I'm going to actually tag in the video where you were talking about that. I'll card that in right now.
And so I tracked that to it being a combination of like, in this case, whatever, this specific speaker with the one specific Parasound amp that's driving it. I think I need maybe a stronger Parasound amp, but I really want to try Class D. So long story short, that's something that I've been shopping a little bit, and I'm hoping to make a switch for. And I would like to try to get like everything on one amp.
Okay.
So I've been looking at like NAD, Apple on Audio, a few of those things. I doubt that the subwoofers will probably change for a while to come, just because we don't have that many great in-wall subwoofer.
I agree. Okay.
And everything here is staying in-wall.
Okay.
So, but in the longer run, there is a upgraded speaker to this in the Focal line. They call it the Utopia. I would love to be running Utopias in here someday, but I mean this is one step down from the Utopia, and there's no impetus to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say is that if you look at the dimensions of the bump out, it's just about perfectly sized for a 97-inch G2.
Oh my God.
Or possibly like an 88. Or that. So there's room to expand a little bit.
Okay, I see.
Although I did my math a little screwed up, and we didn't actually frame it to be exactly 16.9.
Okay.
So it's a little wider, or it's a little taller than it is wide.
I see. Okay.
But that's not all bad either. So a 97 would just skirt in here. And it would leave a little bit at the top for just kind of heat convection to come out of there. But I mean, honestly, I don't really need. I don't need anything.
You're happy with this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great system, man. Like, I mean, if you guys tour over to his channel, I mean, it's just like you have to hear it. Obviously, you guys aren't going to be able to hear, so you just got to trust me. Trust TKK. This thing sounds incredible. It does not sound like it's a 2-point system. It's a 2.2.
No, it fills the room, and there's no center as well. I go Phantom center. I don't think you even need it.
Yeah, man, it's really great, brother. We've got more content to shoot, so as I said, use the timestamps. But we're gonna eat some dinner, and then we're gonna resume filming. All right, guys. So now we are in. Do we call this a server room?
And you could, I guess. I
mean, can I get a tour? Quick.
It's the storage room.
Okay.
Here's all the mess of family stuff.
Hey, listen. This is a
and there's the Techthusiasm
real
recording.
Yeah. So when you guys see his content, bam, there he goes, right there. All right. So this is a lot. We're gonna start top. We got a gaming PC. He covers all of this on his channel, but I'm interested in talking about what powers upstairs as well as what we're gonna see after this transition. All right.
So basically, the way I break this down, and I've got some more detailed tour videos on the channel as well, but the right side is like the processing side, and I consider kind of the left side to be the utility side.
Okay.
I'm a very OCD kind of person, and I do things very organized. But in any case, let's go bottom up. So Parasound, 3 Parasound Halo amplifiers. There's a 5-channel, a 5-channel, and a 3-channel. So these amplify all of the speakers in the theater and the 2 main left and right focals in the living room. So I've got 11 speakers in the theater, plus the 2 speakers upstairs is 13. 5 plus 5 plus 3 is 13. So making maximum efficiency of all those amps. Anthem AVM70, that's the audio processor for the theater. It takes care of like video switching and again all the audio processing needs for the theater room deliberately. I do a little Zone 2 stuff. I'll talk about that in a second. These 2 guys here, Triad rack amps. These are the amplifiers individually, 1 per, for the subwoofers that are in the living room. And then the processor. I'm admittedly an Anthem fanboy. 3 pieces of Anthem gear in the rack here. After buying the AVM70, I liked it so much that I wanted the same product line basically for the living room. So this is an Anthem STR preamp. Basically a 2-channel processor, high level, like audiophile grade 2-channel processor, or 2.2 channel processor. So this does all the room EQ, no video switching or anything like that. This is audio only. All of my sources in the living room plug in discreetly to the television, which is more so really how you want to connect stuff nowadays anyway. I would say just the audio right here. Then we get into some of the sources. This is a Kaleidescape system, Strato movie player, and a 12 terabyte Terra server. This is predominantly what we use to watch the movies in the theater. Of course, super high fidelity, high bit rate, downloadable movies, specifically from the Kaleidescape store. And then Apple TV. I'm also kind of, I would say, admittedly an Apple fanboy. iPad, iPhone, MacBook, and Apple TV is by far my favorite home theater device source for streaming, YouTube TV, all that kind of stuff. If we sweep down on the other side, so this is power management down here. There's a 1500 watt Sever power, uninterruptible power supply. This runs all of the gear that I have in the two systems except for the amplifiers. The amplifiers run on this. This is a power conditioner, a Furman. Basically, the UPS can't provide the amperage that these heavier, more beefy amplifiers need. So this is not an uninterruptible power supply, but it is a line conditioner, like voltage regulator, surge protector, specifically for the amps. Just a drawer for storage. Deep inside here, we're getting into utility, cable modem, and UMA. Yes, we still have a landline phone. This is an Anthem, third one, Anthem MDX16. This is an 8-channel zone audio device. And we've got some Control 4. The whole house is smart home automated on Control 4. Synology NAS for movie and personal file storage, photos and all that. And then the gaming PC backup at the top. So this Apple TV runs to the theater. There's a separate Apple TV that was behind the LG, of course. The Kaleidescape, I actually switched to both zones. So this Anthem has a main zone and a zone 2 output. And this is a very expensive video player. So it's not something I want to have two of. Apple TV, sure, buy two of them. Not a Kaleidescape so much. So the Kaleidescape, through the AVM70 and the control system, I can access it either in the theater or in the living room upstairs, although again it's predominantly a theater source, whereas gaming I consider to be more of a living room source because I just love gaming on that panel. And so right now the PC though down here is wired HDMI fiber optic up to the television, and then the switch is up there in the PlayStation now. So that's it. You can shoot a little behind here actually. I think everybody's always interested to see the back of the rack.
Wow.
So our whole house is like not quite structured wiring, but very, very heavily wired. Cameras, Ethernet, speaker, like all kinds of different things running everywhere. And I do my best to try to keep things zipped up, clean, tidy, and whatnot. So all of the house wiring is coming down. That's a little raw and unfinished up there. But in the rack itself, again, trying to keep it
very beautiful.
Trying to keep it clean. I do have one more other device in the backup here. This is a 24-port gigabit network switch.
Are you comfortable, and I can edit this if you tell me you're not comfortable, are you comfortable talking about collectively a price on this rack?
Oh, I don't know the cost of the rack. I would say that I'm knocking on 6 figures for the entirety of all of the AV electronics that are in this household. The cost of building and setting, if I would have had to buy it commercially, because I DIY'd a lot of it, the entire cost of the theater, the living room, the totality of all of the equipment, and other things that went into it, I'm probably there.
Amazing. You can push that back. I'll just get another overview of this, brother. And then we're going to take a look into your theater room. Okay, Jay. So we're going to be taking a look into your theater room. Let's go ahead. Okay. Man. So guys, I have walked in here. This is my second time coming in here tonight. All right, what I can tell you is that immediately, and the microphone may not pick it up, my voice just changes. All right, so brother, can you just start wherever you want to start with telling me what's in the room?
All right, so we'll go video first. So we've got 163-inch woven fabric, acoustically transparent. That's a Seymour AV Center Stage XD screen. Scope aspect ratio. Behind there, so the room is all focal speakers. All focal speakers is 3 left, center, right. The same 1000 series IWLCR6 that we talked about upstairs in the living room. The rest of the audio, we've got 4 bed level surrounds, 2 sides, 2 rears. That's the white panels. I still haven't painted the grills. Those are the baby brothers of the bigger focals. And then overhead, we've got 4 of their like ICW 6s, I think they're called. Those are just shooting straight down, 8-inch, I believe, Dolby Atmos rounds.
So just so we're clear, behind this screen, you've got 3 of the speakers that you had up top.
Correct.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't catch that the first time when I came in here.
The projector is a JVC NX7.
Okay.
I look forward to upgrading that to a laser someday. But the NX series is absolutely still a fantastic projector, and JVC is just amazing unto itself. We've got 2, these might be a little harder to resolve in the light, but 2 Arundel Sound 1723 2S subwoofers.
Can you remove the grill, brother?
Yeah, these are dual 13.8-inch drivers.
Excellent. So on the other side, there's another woofer. Basically, okay.
Another one on that side.
Okay.
These I need to tinker around with. They're kind of in this location, a little bit about performance and a little bit about presentation.
Okay.
One of the things I'm way over to do, I don't know how many times I've said this on the channel, but I need to get down here and shuffle these subs around and try to get them located a little more optimally. But 2 subwoofers, 1 here on each side. Everything is acoustically treated in here, so we've got 6. It's all GIK. 6 of their 242 panels on the walls. Those are all just absorption. A couple of their, what they call, I think, the monster bass traps in the back. Those have some diffusion in them as well. I've got double stacks of bass traps in every corner. And then a couple of these smaller 2x2 diffusion panels up on the back wall. And then 8 more of them overhead here at that kind of like first reflection point on the ceiling as well. We're still rocking the couch. Someday I've been working on it for a while. Some type of reclining, electric theater chairs and all that. And then the other thing that I think is really unique about the room is the curtaining. So all of the curtains were custom made by like a local seamstress. And so the whole pocket, right, the whole front pocket of the room is these velvety curtains coming out on the sides and above and below the screen. And the screen's actually like mounted on lumber. It's floating. So it's floating a couple inches off the wall in front of those curtains. I think it makes it really cinematic. Of course, it really helps with just blackness and reflections. And because I did the project myself and I didn't want to tear into anything, all my wiring is surface mounted. So the curtains actually hide all of the wiring. So the rack, that AV rack, is right here. And coming through the wall right here is a punch through.
I see.
All the speaker wire, all that stuff comes through and then runs on the surface of the wall behind the curtains all the way around to get to the projector, to get to every speaker, and all that. So I was able to convert a finished drywalled completed room with in walls and speakers everywhere without tearing stuff down. That was one of my design principles when I converted the room, because we didn't build this to be a theater. It wasn't intended to be a theater.
This is beautiful, man. You think we can get just a little bit of content with it being turned on?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. So he's got the theater fired up. On my channel, I've featured Plex. He knows a ton more about this type of stuff. So can you just kind of talk to us about what this is?
Yeah, so we're looking here at the Kaleidescape UI. So Kaleidescape, again, is like a, say, really premium video playback solution. So you buy a combination of a Kaleidescape Strato movie player, which is the UI of the device that we're looking at, and you buy a Terra server, which is a storage server. You buy movies in their store and you download them, usually at about, if not normally better than disc quality. It's basically the highest quality source you can get for home cinema in terms of audio and video fidelity and all that stuff. So the movie store is completely filled out. I have a 12 terabyte server which holds about 200 movies. I've got way more than that in my collection, right? They're all in my account online, and I can pick and choose what I want to have downloaded. So what we're looking at is the movie wall of my Terra server. So these are all the movies that I have downloaded right now, available, ready to play. So
The motion is pretty smooth. That's something I've noticed.
yeah, so Kaleidescape is really good with, this UI. One of the really selling points of the platform is like its elegance. Like this is it.
Yeah.
It's not an app laden
Yeah.
navigation. This is the content that I chose to buy and download, and when the thing starts up, it goes right to this. There is a little more to it. You can go to like list views and you can kind of sort and cut into your content a couple different ways. You can put your movies into collections. See what's new, see what you've played. I've got just one collection set up, for the Star Wars movies.
Can I pause you and ask you a question? So what, in your opinion, what is the quality comparison like to this? I mean, this is considered streaming? Yes, no?
No.
So
No,
this is
there's
not
no streaming. It's
Okay.
It's an internet-based download.
Okay. Once it's on the player, it's playing from the player.
Correct.
Where would you rate the quality of that versus let's say a Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray?
So generally speaking, it's at least the same. In most cases, it's the same, if not better.
Okay.
I talk about this a lot on my channel, like comparing the fidelity of different content sources, like streaming movies on different apps, and I've done a lot talking about like Kaleidescape fidelity compared to disc in particular, because that's really the big question. Like, is Kaleidescape better than a Blu-ray disc? And not only speaking like disc and Kaleidescape, they use the same compression schemas, the same compression technologies. It's all very similar. And so I use size as a proxy of quality, meaning if a movie on Kaleidescape is a 100 gigabyte download, and that same movie on a Blu-ray disc is put on a BD66, that means they had 66 gigabytes worth of data to fill up. You've got about 50% more information, right? Higher bit rate equates to a higher fidelity when it comes to video. Audio is pretty much the same. It's all Dolby Atmos, True HD, DTS Master Audio, DTS-X, lossless audio, same as what you would find on a disc. But Kaleidescape has the ability to push higher bit rate for larger downloads, not constrained by the physical size of a disc.
Interesting.
That all said, I don't recommend that anybody run out and buy a Kaleidescape because of better quality. It's really a combination of simplicity, elegance, access, the fact that there's I think now on the order of several hundred more movies available in 4K on Kaleidescape than have had physical media releases, and that number probably is only going to grow over time. Like their integration, like this thing is networked in to my control system. So as you're going to see in a minute, actually, I'm going to start a movie.
Okay.
The lights are going to go off.
Yeah.
This thing can trigger other states on my projector.
I see.
All this stuff can happen automatically.
Interesting. This is beautiful. Well, thank you for that explanation, brother. All right, man. So I got a couple of great demos. I'm sorry, guys, but the content just can't be played. It's just not possible. And even if I could, this stereo clip mic that I'm using is not going to pick up everything. But let me tell you guys, this is just an amazing experience. So I was sitting here talking to Jay, and I said to him, and I quote, I almost feel like, if the movie wasn't good, you'd still be able to enjoy it. So talk to me about the why a movie theater, man.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm not a big crowd
super big crowd person, and going out, you know, the conveniences of making your own, hopefully healthier snacks, right? The temperature of the room, when pausing the content to use the bathroom. There's just too many conveniences to just stay at home. And of course, the times that we're still coming out of, you know, being around a lot of people, being in crowds and stuff. You know, just doing the stuff at home, I find, is way more enjoyable than going out to do it. I can do it on my own time. I can control everything about the experience of it. And, you know, having a room that's dedicated in a way, purpose-driven, there's nothing else in here, right? The room just fades away. You've got you're just sitting here intimately, close to the screen, close to the content. The audio is directly at you. It's not filling the volume of like a massive theater space. I don't know. To me, like, it makes the whole thing more fun. And to get the family in here, you know, or sit down here with some friends and just, you know, escape away and enjoy some things in a real intimate setting is what gets me fired up for home theater, I guess.
Okay. Hey, man, so listen, this has been a great experience. I'd like for you to just take a moment and just talk to me briefly about what we can expect from your channel going forward.
Yeah, so I think my channel is all about, like, kind of more of a vlog channel in many ways. Like the experience of doing home theater, both in a dedicated room and in the living room. I think that's something I think that makes the channel a little unique, is I've got two different realms of this hobby covered in my space. The, you know, dedicated room, living room setup. I love them both. I use them for different purposes and use them for different reasons. So I'm always tweaking. I'm changing gear. I'm experimenting, right? Turning things over and trying new stuff. And so my channel is all about the experience of doing that, trying to do things better, talking about things that I could have done better, or mistakes that I might have made. And just kind of sharing in the fun of the hobby is what, you know, making connections, building the community, meeting other folks in the hobby, sharing that experience together. Like it makes it cool. One of the things that I did on my channel a while back is I had a poll, like, how to use your theater, and you know, it had options like with my friends or with my family or whatever. Like 70% was by myself, and so, like, this is a real isolated hobby, I think, in many ways. And so, you know, YouTube and these social connections let us enjoy this hobby with other people that are like-minded and kind of into it as much as we each are. So that's what it is for me, and that's what my channel's about.
Excellent, brother. Any I mean, out of the ordinary or special projects you're working on?
I'm working on some new purchases, and so recently I had my chance to try out my first, like, high-end video processor in the room here, and to understand, like, what difference that makes in the system and how it works and how we use it. So I'm contemplating maybe how to add that. We were talking a little bit about it here, but I'm really still jonesing for some theater chairs, sitting in here in a nice full-on recliner versus the couch. So I'm working on that. I've got the PC versus console debate is raging hard in my mind.
Yep.
I just rebought another PlayStation.
Yeah.
So yeah, all kinds of stuff happening here for sure.
Okay. Man, I really appreciate your hospitality. Seriously, you know, I got to sit down, have dinner with you and your wife, and I got to speak with your son. I got a chance to briefly just see your daughter in passing, to meet your cats, and you invited me into this beautiful space. And I mean, this isn't something that, you know, I do regular, but, you know, this is a beautiful thing, and I just want other content creators to be able to see there are people like us out here. You've got a very unique spin on what you bring, and it's just been an absolute blessing to bring this content, you know, to my channel, man. So I deeply thank you for sharing your space, your time, your resources.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much, brother. So we'll be catching you, okay?
Yeah, we'll play some Street Fighter 6 this summer.
Absolutely. Right.